Work has been just so busy, I just can't really do much of anything else. Welcome, by the way. Anyway, even though the file size is only 2 gigabytes, I decided I was going to try my hand at manually editing the world. Basically, I just went into the data folder, whichever one it was, the one where the .mca files are in, and I just deleted everything except the last 7 or so. So good news is, yes, I can do that. Shrink the world down. Like I said, it was over 2 gigabytes. Now it's at 54 megabytes. Of course, that's going to explode. The bad news is everything that is not on my person is gone, which includes Horsey that was back there. So if I were to be Cheaty McCheat and go backwards, I could probably get everything all over again and have multiple copies pretty much. But that's not how this show works. So I know that I can do it, and I'm going to wait till much more than 2 gigabytes. I just wanted to give it a try on a manageable sized file. So if it went wrong, copying over wouldn't take forever to do. Anyway, so that meant this bed disappeared as well. So what I did was I slept. I just stood here for the whole day, waited for the sun to set, put down a brand new bed and slept in it. So now, if something were to go wrong, this show will not be ruined. I have a starting point, which is at, let's F3 it again. I believe this is the same point as before, 163,251. Like I said, the bed disappeared, so I wasn't not 100% sure exactly where it goes. I think that was it. So we lost the horse, but we got everything that we've had on us, so we didn't lose any of that, which is good. Alright, enough of that crap, let's get to the rules. If this is the first time you're watching, we only head south, well, primarily. We can do lateral movement. That away to the east, and that away to the west, and unless it ultimately helps our forward progress, we don't go backwards. And we do this for an hour. We had a little bit of a lengthy start here, and because we lost the horsey, we are doing it all manually. Starting now. And ripped off a second by the timer. It's known to do that. So anyway, yeah, work. I was saying I was hoping that it would cooperate. It has done the exact opposite. It has made matters much worse. I don't have time to do anything. These are the easiest things to produce, which I know may not be the most exciting thing to watch, unless you like the adventure part of it. But this is what I have. Oh, and some other news, which I included in the annotation of the last episode, Stutter, that I uploaded. Little stutter there, and a little stutter there. Anyway, yeah, I think it's stuttering a little bit in general. Anyway, what I'm going to say is I was talking about donating to the Child's Play charity because, the whole Firelands Are Bust thing. I was going to donate initially to try to make things harder for me by, in terms of how far I am from the 0 point, meeting up to him. So he raised enough money at some point. He went back in the right direction. Let me look at something. Yeah, could use a few more to be safe. Grab. So one of the things I wanted to do, like I said, was donate to help that. Then he went the right way. I said to myself, Self, you said you were going to donate to that charity. If it met the minimum 75% of every dollar donated would go to the actual cause, and which it definitely does, And we're in Winterland. Oh, but I see a swamp. So basically, I just needed time in order to do that because I have other things to take care of in real life, which has been quite busy as of late, unusually busy. So I had some obligations I had dedicated time to, which happened to have come up at a particular moment in time. And then this week I went to the Athol, Orange, Massachusetts area, for which I know people that live there. I won't mention who specifically, because they just don't want anything to do with my YouTube channel whatsoever. Is that I've seen it once before and I thought it was great and I want to watch it every year, is they had their annual river rat race. Now, these people that I know that don't want to be really called out, they live in a trailer park. As much as I hate that term, that's what those are. And it's a very nice modern one. A lot of the houses don't even look like trailers. That kind of trailer park. There's a few stereotypical ones that you know it's a trailer. Anyway, so on the property, there's a spot where you are right on the very edge of the river, and you get an unobstructed view, for the most part, of the race going by, which is pretty cool. I've uploaded a video of that. It's on my channel if you want to click on that and see that. It's around the halfway point of the race. Stutter. So, everybody's all spread out. It was quite a windy day as well. So that actually, I believe, that actually kind of helped keep everybody together a little more. Because usually, you got your elite canoeists that go way out ahead of everybody. Then you have some of the others that are in it to beat, a personal best. And that's another strong group that comes through. Then you start getting into the recreational people, and then in the back, those that do it for fun or, to just create some attention for a good reason. Like, there was a couple of people, each canoe is a two-man team. And there was one group that were dressed like minions from, what's the name of the Pixar movie there? I'm drawing a blank. And I think every year now, for the past few years, there's the Viking couple. They didn't make out their canoe to look like a Viking ship, which they did last year, but they were in their Viking attire. And then at near the very back of the field was a couple dressed as ketchup and mustard. So that's some of the draw, is that you get to see some strange costumes and other setups like that. And I gotta talk a little bit because there's background music. I have the window open because it's a rare, nice day out. I don't think the music is on strong enough that, you might hear a little of it here and there, but not strong enough to identify what the music is, because if that is going to be the case, I would have to temporarily pause the video, go over to the window and shut it, because I don't need that. I don't need the copyright headache. Okay, what we should do is flip these around like that, and there we go. I think we'll do it right about here. And there. First full save point since recreating the start. Okay, is this way south? Let's find out. Yep. I decide instead of hitting F3 for everything, I just look up to the sky. If the clouds are going from left to right, we are going the proper direction. If it's going the other way, we're going backwards, and if it's moving forward or back, we know we're going in a lateral position, which is alright, but just not the most optimum of positions. In the last episode, while we're talking about the show, there was like, what, 4 villages and a desert temple. That was quite a lot of stuff. And recently I have decided that I am going to re-implement the use of horses. All I had to do is find villages, find a find a saddle, which I lost when one of the horses disappeared. And with enough wheat on hand, I could just rapidly thrash the feed me button, then get on the horse, and the taming will take much less time, 1 or 2 shots, and makes it viable time-wise as an option to get around. Yes, double hop. I did it just right. Mutton does not last very long. And we're also trying to somewhat get back to the 0 point in terms of the x-axis, while trying to get as far as we can before this thing gets obnoxiously boring or nobody cares anymore. So yes, as I said before, and as we see, it's all winter there, I have finally made the donation to the charity, and those who donate can ask questions or bring up anything. So I figured, call it shameless, that I donated a very large dollar amount to the charity that I think that maybe for donating what I did, which is an awful lot, that I should be able to get a cheap plug for this show. It's doing pretty much the same thing he's doing, except with the most recent edition of the official game, i.e. no snapshots or beta testing. The official release, in this case 1.8.3 as of this recording. And we have the advantage of being able to run boats that are fast, and of course, the horses. And we also have villages and jungle ruins, desert temples, splat. And if I were daring enough or good enough to do it, the ocean monuments. I finally remembered that's what those are called. I've been calling them ocean ruins for the longest time. Yeah. Yeah, we're going backwards a little bit here. Big stutter. Yeah, the gods are not being kind to us. So basically, I'm hoping that... Surprise. I'm hoping that maybe he will give me a cheap plug, and there'll be more interest in this particular show, and maybe in the other Minecraft videos. Because I'm sure some of them that watch that show, Firelands or Bust, are people that watched Paul Soares Jr. Hey, remember him? He used to do Minecraft videos. Too bad you have to rely on me and maybe, splat again, adults only Minecraft to watch old people play the game. And by old, I'm talking about people in their 40s like myself, and those that are 50 and over like Adults Only and PSJ. So, yeah, we got that happening. Hopefully, like I said, the cheat plug will occur and can gain a bigger audience. It's really cool to watch his version of the show because that's when it had all the rounding off errors. Then ultimately, if you get to like, what was it, 12 million something or other blocks out, you wind up, okay, you're just running random, but at least in the direction I'm heading. Then it just turns into a solid brick cheese wall. Well, it's solid stone wall, should I say. I was thinking brick wall, even though that would be wrong too. And it looks like Swiss cheese. And the further you go at that point, the more holy the quote-unquote Swiss cheese would get. But in 1.8 of the beta version of the game, these far lands were removed, and I actually had a, without knowing that, I did have a short-lived series that I discontinued and deleted called Race to the Far Lands, not knowing that in the beta version of the game they were removed. As I've seen videos, and then I've seen Farlands in 1 point whatever version I was trying to game in, not knowing that it was the alpha version of the game. So I was pretty much chasing after something that didn't exist. Well, now I'm doing it again, but not to the Farlands. It's just to see how far we get before Minecraft officially becomes passé. And I know it is for some people as we come to a plane, but I'm talking about when it completely loses popularity. He might be still doing his Farlands or bust thing, and I probably will still be... oh boy. Okay, I don't see anything there. And I probably will still be doing this to a degree. It might even be the only show running when that time comes, hopefully very far away. So I've been doing these a lot more because, like I said, life has not been letting me do much of anything, and these are the easiest to produce. And on top of that, I want to have more of these episodes, so if he ever gets to my message and decides to promote this show as, you know, the other guy that is just picking a direction and going that way, never to return. Yeah, that way there'll be more content, because compared to that show, we haven't gone anywhere. I mean, at last check, I think the last time he checked, he was over 1.5 million blocks out, so we're nowhere near that. And in the last episode, we finally crossed the 100-mile marker. We're 101 and change, and of course, as you saw in the beginning, about 163 kilometers out. Alright, more than a quarter of the way through here. Yeah, so I'm hoping that, I think what engineers, I can't really get into details, nor do I want to, because I want to try to keep work and Minecraft pretty much separate. But what I hear is this project that I'm involved in, which unfortunately I'm relegated to an towards an engineer's time schedule, meaning that my day's pretty much ruined most of the time. I haven't had any real time to do the regular series. I have an episode of AMP that I'm going to start recording, but it's probably not going to air for a very long time, because as I mentioned in the previous episode, there is a major ravine. That wouldn't have been fun to fall in. There's a major project that has to get done. I can record some of my progress. Okay, we don't have to go backwards. We can just go right here. I don't want any seeds. Major project that I need. That I volunteered for, but didn't realize that I need wood first off. What I was going to say is that I needed to pretty much disrupt my life as a whole and pretty much spend it on this project. And what makes it worse for me is I'm just a regular Joe in terms of I'm just a blue collar schmuck that works in a calibration department. I'll tell you that much. And I can't really explain what I do to general masses. I mean, some of you will obviously know what I'm talking about, but like I said, I try to keep work and YouTube private. Oh, I talk about lag. So I don't want to go into detail since our company policy handbook has been updated, and they're not the parent company isn't exactly a fan of social media. So yeah, that's why I pretty much don't go into specifics, except that I take parts that customers want to see if they work correctly, so we put them through the stresses they want the parts to go in, and if they work, great. If not, we let them know. Or if there's something that could be literally calibrated, we do it to make sure that they get the output they're looking for when their part is in a circuit. I mean, that's as generic as I can make it without going too far into it. So I don't need to hear them say we don't like you doing what you're doing on social media. Well, for the most part, I don't see why they would care. And there's a couple of videos that, before the change in the guidelines, would definitely go against them. Not intentionally, though. And I used to even plug the business I worked at before I became a partner, because that's kind of a legal no-no in the land of YouTube even. So that's why you don't hear too much of what I do. So that's been disrupting things, and like I said, I want to start recording a segment of AMP, and it's going to take a very long time to get this big project done. In terms of AMP, not the very big project at work. However, when I am done the big amped project, of course you're going to know what it is, and I'll show it to you. And repeating myself from the last show, I've also had live on Twitch, Big Stutter, working this particular project. And if you have watched the live stream when I was doing that, you know exactly what I'm trying to do. If you haven't, where have you been? Why haven't you watched my live stream? Oh boy, that could have sucked. Why aren't you watching my live stream? Don't you realize that sleep is very important and my live streams help people fall asleep? Yes, that's an ongoing joke, and the live streams tend to be a little dry. I tend to concentrate on what I'm doing. I don't, conversate during the live streams too much unless somebody asks something or wants to say hi. Because I'm not exactly sure what I am doing at that specific time. So it's kind of random, and it's really hard to do full-blown commentary on a live stream when I'm doing things haphazardly, whereas I have an agenda when I record these shows, whether it's One Way, which you're watching right now, or Amped, Watch Me Suck at Minecraft, School of Hard Knocks. Or any of the multiplayer server stuff. And as of this recording, which is mid-April of 2015, some people on my server might have noticed that I have not been on as of late. That's because upon trying to back up my world, there is a back-end problem with the server that I'm renting. So basically, I can't back up the world, and I'm not wasting my time on projects if I cannot back up the world, not knowing when or if something could happen to it. So until the company from which I am renting my server from, Servercraft, that is. That's actually no secret. Anyway, until they fix that back-end problem, I'm not doing anything whatsoever. It's just a waste to spend my time on something. And if it were to crap out, I'd lose everything. Whereas if the back-end were working and I could make a backup, then it would still suck if something went wrong, but at least I have a point in which I can continue from, because one of my projects that I've left for a very long time is now back up in operation, and I am not wasting my time trying to do math and stuff when I'm not sure if it'll be there tomorrow. Wolfie likes to kill the sheepies. Okay. We go from wonderful terrain to awful terrain. And like I said, oh no. That stunk. Like I said, I have successfully shrunk this world down. It's much smaller than the 2 gig it was. Like I said, I would have waited. Yeah, I don't want to fall down that. I would have waited, but I wanted to see while it's still fairly manageable if it were a doable thing to delete everything that is behind us and we're not going to return again to ever see. So I know it works to a degree. I can just wait for the file to get significantly larger, back everything up, of course, delete it all, come back onto the world. Of course, everything I've done will disappear. There's the planes over there. I saw ya. And we're running. So, yeah, next time we do that, big stutter. Gonna once again plop down a bed where we were. Just sit there for the whole day and wait for it to pass. Sleep in that bed so we have the actual point. So if, like I said here, God forbid I were to die, I don't lose all that work that I just did. It looks like it's bedtime, and speaking of that, we need to make more beds. And we need to run. Right about here, maybe. Yeah, that'll work. We're not going to make all of them. We're just going to make enough to do the job. We don't want too many, because we could use the inventory space for other things. And because we don't use a sword that much. I thought I saw a village, but I didn't. Planes keep going that way, though. But I need to see. I'm not going to do a whole lot of lateral movement unless it's necessary. I don't see any villages there. There could be a village. I don't see one. Alright, time to play Minefield. I'm going to aim like this so we can see. Aim up like this so we can stretch the view a little bit and hopefully get around these. Oh, that's the first one that hit. Alrighty, we're stutter. Sometimes it's kind of hard to not hit any. But for every little bit we get by, that's just jungle. Generally, we somehow hit that one, even though we weren't. And kablooey. So much for that. Alright, I'm gonna pick a spot in the jungle and head through, because some of these have ruins, and let's just make sure we don't have anything we don't care about. Yeah, we need coal. Not ultra desperate for it yet. So will we find anything in here? I'm just gonna have to pick a spot and go with it, because it's deep. It's hard to navigate. And sometimes a temple will be right there in your face, but it's so thick in here, you don't see it. I found, on Craft Theory, I found the second jungle temple that existed on the server. There was only one that was discovered, but I saw in the map that on crafttheory.net that there was a second a second ruin. So I got the X and Z coordinates off the map and went there. To my surprise, being that it was fully rendered. Hey, look at that. Being that it was fully rendered, I would have assumed... Okay, I hear you. When in the... Alright, you know what? I'm just going to make my own entry. Because we're not here permanently. We're just here to grab stuff. Never mind stutters, that was just lagging. Straight on lag. And... I heard something. An emerald, we could use that. We could make new armor, get rid of the gold stuff. Let's just look at everything. Yeah. Oh, we could just collect a bunch of it. Ooh, wrong. Yep. Die. Well, it wasn't much, but it was something. Now the question is, are we heading south? Yes, we are. Oh, that's an ocelot. Okay, I thought I was being chased by something that's less friendly. Well, just as I was saying, if we go through the jungle, there could be one right in front of you and you wouldn't see it. And that one was pretty much just needed neon lights saying, "Here I am." It would have made it a little easier to find, but ridiculously easy to find. Okay, we need to ditch things. We don't have room for you or you. Well, looks like we're hitting winter yet again, so we'll take the path of least resistance. Yeah, we'll just ditch it when it's time. Oh. Yeah. Meant to hit that one. Planes! I honestly did not see those. It's good that I saw it. No lily pads to jump across. Okay, I need to go this way, like I said. Not that it matters much. I've been wanting to try to keep things in a straight line from when we started, which obviously has not happened. Because then we find interesting biomes that could be helpful to the cause, only to wind up deviating. So we had a jungle ruin in our jungle temple in our... Give me jungle ruin. I get the jungle and desert ones confused in terms of... Wrong button. In terms of ruin or... Is it a ruin or is it a temple? Cows. Well, that was the only one that was immediate. Oh, of course, just missed it. Sun's starting to set. And I'm not going to waste time on you. We have an agenda, and that's to keep going forward. Ultimately, this sword's gonna go kaputs. Let me see how much moo patties we got. 18. There's gonna be a point that we're not gonna care. I'm just trying to get leather to trade with the villagers when we get to that point. And this is what we're doing with the gold now. And around. And roof forest time. Which can be good, which can be bad, depending on how well you line yourself up with the treetops. In that case, it wasn't very well. Now the question is, can I put one up here? No. Like I said, for the sake of forward progress, a little backwards won't hurt. Can I put one on here? Yes, I can. Oh, we already did that. So it's not nighttime enough yet. Wow, 2/3 of the way through already. Wow, that was refreshing. Planes. Wow, we made that jump. Wow, this has really gone well. See, these things can be good or bad, and well, now, as I was finishing that up, I noticed a little something over there that might be of interest. I'll give you a hint. Its inhabitants go, huh. Stutter. Interesting how that village is set up. It's like a mini amplified setup. Mini being how it's all split up the way it is. Yeah, now I just need to get up. And I need to get up. And we got a smith shop, which is good. Yeah, we got enough wheat to do our job. Alright, so that paid off a little bit. And in the... If you only did homos. In the generated structures, we can go whatever we like. Yes, I'm touching... Should I say I'm talking to you? What do we have in here? This is the important thing. Let's just check. Alright. We're gonna trade up and take this. And take the bread, because it's extending our food supply. There. A little more protection. One of these kinds like gold. Paper, books. No. Oh, that's wasting. Need 2.5 drumsticks. Okay, you're a librarian guy. Alright, well. Too little, too late in the cow department, but we do have coal, which we need. Yeah, it kind of stalls our progress, and I'm not going to chase you all day. No. We need you, coal. We're going to grab all of it because we could use it. We could trade with it. I know it's exciting. But we kind of need this stuff. All right. Let's see how much. 35. And you're gone too far away. Interesting to see if there's any more. It is well known that more than one village can exist on a single biome. Generally, they tend to be together, but wow, this really, to me, does not feel anywhere near as long as it's gone. Feels like I've been at it for like 15 minutes, and it's actually up almost how much time is actually left. And some of you, of course, are saying, alright, for some reason it seemed to have been getting darker. And for some of you, it seems like it's been going on too long as it is. See planes over there. Last piece of... last extension there. We don't need to be holding that. We're good. And yeah, that was brilliant on my part. Yeah, let's keep going this way. I know it's heading towards winter. Unless that over there is promising enough. And I thought I could clear that, but I didn't. Yeah, we're going to be heading a little this way again. Completely different plane, so... Yeah, look at how quick those gold swords go down. I mean, I know that they're pretty much... I know people call it butter because the gold ingots look more like sticks of butter. But in terms of performance, these things practically are about the consistency of butter. Might be part of the reason why people call them that. Gold is not a hard metal. Which I find it interesting that gold in the game... I'm not going to keep going like that, come on. Forward progress is what matters. I'm not going to keep going lateral. So what's probably going to happen, and usually always does, with the exception of, like I said before, 1 or 2 episodes where timing was wonky enough that happened that way, is when the timer reaches 0, depending on what time of day it is in the Minecraft world, will depend on whether or not we'll do a little bit of overtime to the next day. Sometimes I'll just wait till the halfway point, so when I cook stuff and finish all that crap, and we don't need you. We will be able to sleep the night off and start right then and there the next time we do a show. And I have not pressed F3 once the whole time in this particular episode. So it'd be interesting to see how far we've gone. 163 and change is what we were at. Expectations is at least 10,000 blocks an episode, so we're hoping for roughly 175,000 when we're done. And move. And I'm hoping that the Captain Farlands or Bust will actually read my promote me comment and do it. If he doesn't, no big deal. Thought he would probably do that because he thinks he's the only one that's doing this particular kind of thing. While I did get the inspiration from that, because like I said, I had the failed race to the Firelands. Alright, boat time. But we don't have a boat. So, I'm going to make a ghetto boat. As we use wood of multiple colors. Gonna plop that in. Get rid of this. Plop down a bed. And sleep it. Alright, one more Minecraft day left. There won't be much in the way of overtime. Okay, we'll go between there. And he's coming my way. Oh, we're back to islands. And stutter. Sailing away. Hey, at least we found a village and we found a rare jungle temple or jungle ruin. And I think those are supposed to be ruins. Because it's all overgrown and it's stutter. It's supposed to look a little run down anyway. And we're, for the most part, going straight ahead. And there's a... I was going to say there was a jungle. Not going to go there. Not going here because it's an island. We're interested in land. The only reason we stop for an island is if the sun is setting and we want a safe place to sleep the night off. Stutter and stall out. This looks like it's full-blown land. So what we're going to do is find the deepest recess so we can go just that much further. And what I do, because boats tend to run away when you disembark on shore, is stutter time this out the best I can. So right about now. So it won't crash into shore. It's gonna just bump. Yeah, it's just a little tiny bump. So it doesn't really hit hard enough that it breaks. Or it puts enough wear on the boat that it'll break sooner. So of course we want them to break later. Not at all if we could really help it. That's ideal situation, and ideal is something that pretty much never happens. So, like I keep saying it, hope he mentions this show. And like I said, and I want to emphasize on this more, if he doesn't, so what? Would be nice, but I'm not going to make a fuss over it or anything. The most important thing is that the charity that got my help got a big push. And the goal he wanted to reach got a pretty big push. Those are the most important things. Because I know the way the internets work is, especially with the legacy of Real Tough and what it had back in the day, people will love to try and turn everything that I do into some sort of trolling incident, which, no, never happened that way. I'm not gonna go too much into it. Let's just say, in its heyday, Real Tough was so big and popular. A lot of the lesser-known people in the Doom community didn't like Real Tough that much and made up all sorts of craptacular stories about how awful I am and horrible things I would do, and some have even gone as far to say, which I could not afford a lawyer, some have even gone as far as to say that I would like to do things to children you're not supposed to do, which really, really pissed me off. But that was a long time ago. And fortunately, the particular entities that were deciding to say I was such a person have been proven to be discredited in the internet world outside of their own. So I didn't have to really worry about any negative backlash outside of anyone who enjoyed these particular sites. I'm not naming any of them. One is a general humor site. There's a couple game sites that also did the same thing. But I've also found out, and I'm not going to name other names, but there was another really big name in the Doom community that, much more subdued than I was, I'll be honest with you, was a bit loud about accomplishments. But you know what? I was making my fans happy. They like being recognized, and and I thought it was very important to reverberate everything the fans have said, even if it is a little on the overly boasting side of things was, hey, people loved you so much. They were willing to say, and I mean, someone literally said I was a god, and I'll honestly tell you, no, I wasn't. But Real Tough back in the day was massive. I think the thing that ultimately hurt the reputation in terms of popularity was that I tried to go from PC gaming, trying to bring Real Tough into the console market, but most of the games didn't really support the ability to do that. Couldn't really make it work. And then came Minecraft. And right then and there I said, while it's too late and I'm hardly going to be recognized by anyone in 2011, I'm going to go back to the very humble beginnings of Real Tough, being small and almost unrecognized. Although I bet these entities that are thinking Real Tough is dead, if they pop up the search engine and do a search, they'll see, much to their dismay, that Real Tough is still going strong, and in less than 2 months' time, be celebrating the 21st anniversary. Yes, Real Tough is ancient in gaming circles. If Real Tough were a person here in the United States, it would be old enough to be able to drink alcohol. June 1st. And speaking of that, I don't remember the message verbatim, but somebody who gamed in the 90s like I did was thanking me for still being around, making content, and that it is extremely rare that a brand, some homemade brand, and there's the timer, from the early 90s is still around today. I mean, sure, software companies and software, corporations and stuff like that, of course they can be around, but usually home brews, they stick around for a few years, maybe several, and then, there's planes there. Then they burn out and call it good, and then it's the end. That has not happened with Real Tough. And we're going to sleep and call this an episode. Alrighty. So I'm going to do some work off camera. I'll stand on top of the workbench and let's hit the good old F3 and see what we are at. $1.75 would be great. $1.73 is ideal. Yeah, we just barely did anything ideal, to be honest. And look at that, in the X, now we're at negative 161. How have things changed quite a bit there? So 173, 350, 4. Very exciting. So that's probably going to turn out to be like 100, I'm guessing like 106 miles and change, if my guesses are right. Anyway, that's this episode. Time for me to do some off-camera work. Georgia551 saying, hope you enjoy and have a good one.